Today we will be looking at the boss fights in the Five Nights at Freddy's series. There are 3 main final boss fights, and we will be ranking all of them to see which one is the best. We will be ranking them based on how difficult they are, how well designed the game mechanics are, and more. The first one we will be discussing is the final night of Five Nights at Freddy's 4 against Nightmare Fredbear. Make sure to comment down below whether you agree or disagree with any of the rankings in this video. Fredbear is one of the 2 original animatronics to exist alongside Spring Bonnie and Fredbear's family diner. The crying child in the minigames can be seen being forced into Fredbear's mouth by his older brother. Fredbear clamps his jaw onto the crying child's head, leading to his death. In Five Nights at Freddy's 4, it's heavily implied that you are playing the older brother, and you are being haunted by your past mistakes. Nightmare Fredbear appears on night 5 as the final boss. During this night, Nightmare Fredbear is the only animatronic that can attack you. He will approach from either the left or right side hallways. You have to use your flashlight to check where he is and close the door shut until he is heard running away. Throughout the night, the player can also hear his laugh, which means that his head will appear on the bed or inside the closet. Whenever you hear his laugh, you also have to make sure to listen for his footsteps. If you hear both the footsteps and laugh, that means that he will be in one of the 2 hallways instead. To survive against Nightmare Fredbear, you need to pay attention to the audio cues and know how to counter him. Nightmare Fredbear is considered to have one of the scariest jump scares. The best part about this boss fight is how intense it can get. However, beating this night is usually easy, as now there is only 1 animatronic to deal with, rather than 4, which is why he is ranked the lowest. The boss fight should have also introduced new game mechanics to make this night feel more special and different from the rest. In order to complete the final boss fight in Security Breach, you must have all the upgrades put on Freddy. You must go underground by taking the elevator and turn on all of the generators. At the end of the path, there will be an entrance to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Place, which is the exact one we play inside of in Five Nights at Freddy's Pizzeria Simulator. Then you must continue walking along and go into the sinkhole. On the bottom you can find the blob, and when walking on the wooden planks you will fall through into a chamber, and a cutscene will play revealing Burntrap, the main villain of the series. Burntrap places his hand on the television and attempts to control and take over Freddy. Your objective is to watch the monitors and press the button to burn him. Chica will be attacking you from one of the 2 corridors where you must lock the door to keep her from coming inside. Roxy will also attempt to come inside, but the door won't keep her out, so you must hide inside Freddy instead. Monty appears in the vent, which you must lock it down as well. After surviving the first phase of the boss fight, the blob will then start to attack you by using its tentacles. You must try to survive as long as possible and burn often enough, and the boss fight will end with a cinematic cutscene. The boss fight itself is not very difficult, however getting there is one of the hardest things to accomplish. Getting all the upgrades for Freddy is not an easy task, and to collect one of them after 6 AM requires you to do it without saving, which can be very frustrating. The underground chamber below the Freddy Fazbear Pizza Place is an awesome location, and the withered versions of the Glamrock animatronics chasing you down after you destroy them is also another great addition to the boss fight. The biggest issue I have is that defeating Afton feels somewhat anticlimactic, and we never get to face him in person, only through the monitors. The game also doesn't make it clear what happened after, and it's very confusing when it comes to if the ending is canon. Overall, I think this boss fight is good, but as the final boss, he should have been a bigger threat. and defeating him should have been way more than pressing buttons to burn him until the place gets destroyed. In Five Nights at Freddy's sister location, the player must have already completed Night 5 and have a keycard to enter the private room to start the boss fight. The keycard can be obtained by beating the Circus Baby minigame. In the minigame, you are playing as Circus Baby and you have to give all the children cupcakes. The minigame is timed and you must reach the goal at the end. You will then be rewarded with the keycard. When you enter the parts and service room, you must enter the passcode, collect the keycard, and send Circus Baby into the scooping room. Once you have the keycard, you have to disobey Circus Baby and go to the opposite direction. When you have found a private room, you will hear
"Access granted."
As long as you have your keycard with you. You are then put inside an office. There are 2 doors on each side similar to the office of Five Nights at Freddy's 1. An event that can be seen in front of you. The player has to survive until 6 AM against Ennard. Ennard is the twisted amalgamation of the Funtime animatronics and appears as the final boss. His goal is to use your identity to escape into the real world. To defeat Ennard, you have to hear first movement and then check the cameras to know where he is. In the first few hours, the camera is not as important because you can hear Ennard moving. He will also speak to the player using Circus Baby's voice to convince you to let him in.
Why didn't you trust me? Why didn't you believe me? Sometimes I don't understand why people do the things that they do. I thought you liked me. I thought I did everything right. We don't want to hurt anyone.
However, Ennard will start to become more aggressive and you will have a shorter amount of time to close the door. Ennard will also start to use Elizabeth's voice instead.
Everything is okay. I'm still here. Isn't this why you came here? To be with me again.
After defeating the boss fight, a cutscene will play of you watching the last episode of The Immortal and the Restless on the television at your house. Ennard will then appear revealing he has found a way out and has come to kill the player. The music and dialogue in my opinion is excellent, and Ennard being more aggressive as time passes on is a great way to make the player feel tension. The boss fight does have its problems like the power running out too quickly. However, I still think this is one of the best boss fights in the entire series. Go and watch my other videos if you're interested in more content like this. And also let me know if you would like to see a part 2 to this video on all of the boss fights in Security Breach. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.